second part of the dumbest and meme mods for HOI4. And sure, it's been an entire year since the first one, but let's not worry about that. Today I'm taking a look at 3 more meme mods that you can try if you've gotten so bored of vanilla HOI4 and going outside and socializing still somehow sounds like the worst option. The first mod we have today is a casino inside of HOI4 and it's called Hearts of Gambling. And as the name already suggests, the whole point of it is gambling. The mechanic is actually implemented pretty well and it surprisingly fits into vanilla playthrough. Why? Because through gambling you can win resources, factories, political power and all sorts of useful stuff that we can use in a game. So how exactly does it work? You start a completely normal game, except now there's a new casino section in the decision menu. Inside you can choose between 4 different games: higher or lower, blackjack, cops and balls, and roulette. So let's go through each one. The game higher or lower is almost exactly what it sounds like. You have to guess whether the next card will be higher, lower, or the same value that the previous one. And the more correct guesses you make in a row, the higher your reward multiplier becomes. Before you start though, you need to place a bet. And here you can gamble with pretty much everything the game lets you spend or use. Listing every option would probably take too long, so it's just easier if I show you. This is all the options that we can gamble with. It's pretty a lot, I guess, right? Then once you've had enough of this game, you can move on to the next one, which is blackjack. I think most people already know how blackjack works because it's quite a popular game everywhere. It's also known as 21 because the goal is to get as close to 21 or get 21 itself without going over. There are fewer betting options here, but your chances of actually winning are much better than in the previous game. So after gambling away a bit more of your country, we can move on to the next game, cops and balls. Honestly, cops and balls kind of suck here because it barely even works. Oh right, I forgot to explain what you're actually supposed to do in here. You have to guess which cup the ball is under. The problem is that it's completely random because you never actually see the cups moving. The one thing that makes this mode worth trying is that you can choose your dealer. You can have Goth Girl, the Führer himself, or, well, the communist guy, Stalin. And finally we have Roulette, the absolute casino classic. There really isn't much to explain here. What's interesting is that the betting options now include civilian factories, militaries, and dockyards, which can make your campaign a lot easier, assuming you actually win. So that's basically what this mod is all about. Is it worth installing just for the gambling? Honestly, not really. If all you want is gambling, you should probably better be playing some Texas Hold'em Poker Race instead. But since this mod exists anyway, it's actually a fun little addition to vanilla if you just want to spice up your gameplay every now and then. Therefore, moving on to the next mod, which is called KFC, based on the famous Kentucky Fried Chicken. As you can probably guess, you play as State of Kentucky, and this mod actually has its own unique focus tree compared to the previous mod. It's not a very big one, but at least it exists, which is already an advantage. But the focus tree isn't even the funniest part in this mod. The real fun starts with the production and the army. Instead of training regular soldiers, you're producing chicken, potato, and Pepsi Cola. You also get some very interesting generals in the form of giant chickens and Colonel Sanders himself. The mod also includes a ridiculous number of almost identical decisions like Mike or McDonald's, and pretty much all of them do absolutely nothing except give you another general. Honestly, there isn't much else to talk about here. It's basically a one-time joke mod with a pretty small focus tree, replace portraits, and one interesting mechanic that lets you conquer the United States through political decisions. So let's move on to the next mod called Teto Territories. So this is basically some mod about this anime girl taking over Yugoslavia. The main menu already looks incredibly promising, with an effect that immediately makes you want to rip one of your eyes out because of the contrast. You start the game as Yugoslavia with a focus tree centered around Teto. Little by little, you bring Kasane Teto to power and begin causing chaos. Overall, it's mostly just the standard Yugoslavia focus tree with renamed industrial, political, and military focuses. The mod also adds a bunch of new generals featuring different anime girls. And not just anime girls. There's also an anime peer, or maybe it's a peer girl, I don't know how to call it. Overall, it's basically just a Yugoslavia playthrough with anime girls. There aren't really any unique mechanics or interesting events built around the concept. So, despite the unusual theme, the mod doesn't actually change much, so it's kind of a small one. And that's it, I guess. Yeah, I know there were only 3 mods this time, and none of them are particularly large, ambitious, or overly interesting. The problem is that the overwhelming majority of meme mods that I have saved and actually wanted to show simply don't work anymore. Some crashed the game and others have been abandoned completely, and a lot of them are just broken and don't work with recent game updates. There were actually some pretty interesting ones too, like for example Skibidi Universe, God forgive whoever made that and for me saying this. So I'm afraid this is probably the end of meme mod series, and thanks everyone for watching and hope to see you soon.